Hey class, welcome to group time. Today we're going to be talking about senses of the body. Specifically, what senses help us taste food, okay? I'm sure that each one of you are eating today at some point, and you need to know what senses are helping you to taste the food that you're eating, okay? So let's do a little reminder on our senses, all right? So we've got the sense of sight, we got the sense of touch, that's two. We got the sense of hearing, and then we've got smell and taste, okay? Today we're going to be talking about taste and smell. All right, so taste is the sense that allows people to identify and enjoy their food by distinguishing salty, sweet, bitter, and sour flavors, all right? Have you guys ever tasted something salty, sour, sweet? I'm sure you have. Bitter, maybe. You know, there are some bitter vegetables out there that are good for us. But yeah, bitter, I'm sure you've tasted bitter before. Think about the foods that have caused you to taste each one of those. You know, there would be, I can think, you know, sweet, just all the sweets I have in my cabinet, right? So let's talk about the next one, which is going to be smell, the sense of smell. Now that allows people to distinguish odors, odors being something that smells, right? And it's activated whenever you breathe, okay? So as long as you're breathing, you are smelling. Your nose is activated. It has an effect on the ability to taste, and we're about to find out what that is, okay? So, but first off, we're going to talk about something called a receptor cell, all right? Now, the reason that we can taste and we can smell are because of receptor cells, also called receptors. Now, they are specialized cells that receive information from one part of our body and send that straight up to the brain, okay? Now, they are inside the mouth, and the receptor cells inside the mouth are called taste buds, all right? Now, taste buds are located primarily on the tongue. That is our thick, soft organ attached to the bottom of the inside of the mouth and used whenever we talk, swallow, taste, or lick. Taste buds are also located in the throat, which, you know, that's something you may not have known, and in the palate, which is the roof of the mouth. So it's like the top of your mouth here. That's the palate. So they're capable of sensing sweet, sour, bitter, and salty tastes. Now, did you know there are areas on your tongue that can sense those better than the others? Let's go through those. So they're grouped together on specific areas of the tongue. Sweet is sensed at the tip of the tongue. All right, so sometimes whenever you drink hot chocolate and it's too hot and it gets on the tip of your tongue and it burns your tongue, well, if it's on that part at the very tip, that means that you won't be able to taste anything sweet for a while. So bitter is sensed in the center towards the back. So it's going to be towards your back of your tongue is your bitter group of taste buds. Salty and sour are sensed along the sides. Okay, so your sides right there is going to be where you can sense the salty and sweet. So whenever you have your sour candy that I'm sure you guys have had before, you know, that's where those cells are grouped. The receptor cells that give a person the sense of smell are the olfactory cells. That's like, you know, spelled O-L factory, olfactory cells. And they're contained in the olfactory bulb. And that's an area under and connected to the brain. Olfactory cells send information about detected odors to the brain, where the information is analyzed, categorized, and memorized. All right? So let's talk real quick about, let's talk real quick about how we can demonstrate this at home. So whenever you sit down for your next meal, find something that could be considered salty, right? So that could be like a potato chip. For me, I pretty much have potato chips every day for lunch. So taste that, and you can sense that you can taste the salt off of that potato chip, okay? And also get something that would be sweet. I'm thinking less candy and more like fruit, okay, like a melon, or if you want to get like a blueberry or a strawberry or something. So taste that salty thing first and get that salty taste, and then put that down and taste something sweet. Okay, so from something that you're eating today, taste that sweetness. Okay, now that you have done both of those, what you should do is try both of those. Try each one of those again, except this time clamp down on your nose like this, and you'll talk really funny when you do it. But clamp down on your nose and taste, and you'll probably be able to notice that it's not as full of a taste as it was before. There is a way that you can directly demonstrate this concept to you that taste and smell work together. All right, those receptor cells are giving your brain information about that, and when some of them are cut off, the brain does not get the information that it normally would from both working together. So pretty interesting how the body does work together like that. So when you have a cold and you have a runny nose, you're probably not going to enjoy your food as much. Okay, so a few points of that I want to end off with on this. Like I said, this is just a review, so this one's going to be a little bit shorter than the other senses that we're going to talk about. So we can distinguish between thousands of different odors. Odors, again, being smells. Did you know thousands of different odors? You can tell thousands of different odors apart. That's pretty crazy. In addition to providing information about a person's surroundings, the sense of smell can trigger memories and emotions and have an effect on the way a person feels. Scientists believe that this is because the olfactory bulb is located very near to the areas of the brain responsible for memory and emotion. Okay, so this is always something that I've noticed, is that when I smell something and it reminds me of a memory I've had or some sort of emotion, be it a happy emotion or a sad emotion, like I just thought, well, that's just the way it is. Well, it's the way it is because the olfactory bulb is so close to the memory portion of our brain. So that is pretty interesting how that works out. So that does go with smell, but also with taste. When you taste a food, that's some home cooking that you remember from your childhood. Well, you're in your childhood, but when you remember from earlier, you can tell that taste definitely brings you back. For me, I know that whenever I drink eggnog, if I drink eggnog, that automatically reminds me of Christmas, because every single time it's Christmas is when eggnog comes out. Okay. Here's another example. Perfume and cologne. All right. If somebody wears a certain perfume or cologne all the time, then whenever you smell that same perfume or cologne, you're going to be able to remember that person. And whether or not that was a good memory or bad memory, that may actually affect your emotions. So it is pretty wild how that happens. And it is very, very well connected to memory. So your memories can actually stand out to you more if there's a smell associated with them, which is pretty wild too. One more thing, taste and smell can actually act as warning systems for the body. Have you ever thought about taste and smell as a warning system? Well, that's what they are. If a certain food tastes and smells bad because it's been spoiled, a person most likely won't eat it, and thereby they will protect their body from becoming ill. Okay. If a strong smell of smoke is detected, a person knows where there's a fire nearby, and they'll usually go investigate it or run for safety, and that protects them from being burned. So these are also defense systems, you can think of them as, in that sense, is that protects your body from being in danger as well. See if there's anything else I needed to cover. I think that's it. There is going to be an activity for this, and I would like you to use a journal if you have it. If you don't have your journals for school, that's okay. You can always write it down on a piece of paper. But I want you to write down a short story or a memory or something that is tied to either a taste or a smell. Okay, so if it's a memory where, you know, every time I smell this smell, I think about this memory, or I think about the time I had over with my family or my friends, or this particular meal makes me think of this because it tastes so good, or it tastes like home, or it tastes like my vacations, or something like that. You know, think of some kind of you know, memory or emotion that you have either with a smell or a taste. And write that down. You know, you can write it down like a short story telling me what happened in that, or you could even make it into a poem. You can write me a paragraph about it. Just write it down in your journals, and bring the paper or the journal with you to school. Okay, but that will be your our activity today, along with the sitting down for a meal and tasting things once, and then the next time you taste them, cover your nose and see how it works, okay? That's a direct demonstration of what we're talking about. So that's all I have for today. Next time we're going to jump into the other 3 senses. They will be more in depth, so there will be more terminology and probably some diagrams and things like that. Today was very simple though. I wanted to thank you guys for tuning in. Let's keep this going. I want to do one of these every day. Because I want you guys, I know that times are crazy this week for you probably. You're probably not even, don't even have all your stuff with you, but I would really like to keep learning through this time, okay? And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.